Alright, in this last video in section 12.6 we'll look at question 4 that says consider the polynomial x squared plus 4x plus 3. A asks what's the remainder if this polynomial is divided by one of its factors? That is, what will the remainder term be of the fraction x squared plus 4x plus 3 divided by one of its factors? Alright, well, by the very definition of factor, it means that it's going to go into the dividend evenly. So for example, if I take the number 6 and I divide it by one of its factors, say 3, well, 3 being a factor goes into 6 evenly, right? 2 whole times. And so likewise here, if I took, say, the factor x plus 1, and why do I know this is a factor? Well, I can factor this polynomial as x plus 1 times x plus 3. And so in other words, if I divide x squared plus 4x plus 3 by x plus 1, I'm just going to get x plus 3, and that remainder term will be 0. Okay, so our answer to part A is just 0. And then B says, what can you say about the graph of x squared plus 4x plus 3 divided by one of its factors? Well, as we just noted in part A, this thing has a remainder term of 0. And in the last video we said that if you have a remainder term of 0, then your graph is going to have a hole. Okay, so we said in the last video, if for remainder 0, your graph will be, your graph will have a hole. So that was like problem number 2, where our graph was a line, but then we had that hole at the point 1, 0. In question 3, though, we had a remainder that was not 0, and we saw there that the graph of the function had a vertical asymptote. Okay, so those are the two possibilities we're considering here. And now for C, will the graph of x squared plus 4x plus 3 divided by x plus 2 have a hole or an asymptote, and where? Well, one way to answer this is that we know from up here the factors of x squared plus 4x plus 3 are x plus 1 and x plus 3. So x plus 2 then is not a factor. So it won't go into this numerator evenly. So we know the remainder term is not 0. So from that alone, I could say the graph will have a vertical asymptote. And where will that occur? It's going to occur where I have a domain problem, where I have a division by 0, in other words. And so that's going to happen at x equals -2. Okay. Now if I actually wanted to know what that remainder was, then I could go ahead and do the division. Let's do that real quickly down here. We have x plus 2 dividing into x squared plus 4x plus 3. So x into x squared is x. X times x is x squared, plus x times 2 is 2x. So then we're going to go ahead and subtract. So in other words, change signs and add, and that's going to give us 2x, and then carry the 3, and x goes into 2x 2 times. 2 times x is 2x, plus 2 times 2 is 4. So go ahead and change signs and add, and we get a remainder of -1. Okay, so the remainder there is -1, and as we've already noted, that's going to say that our function here will have a vertical asymptote at x equals -2. All right, well, that's going to do it for this question and for section 12.6. Thanks.